Yes, Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you joined me today. Today we're going to make a fabric journal cover an easy way. There are lots of ways to do it. We're going to do it an easy way. Okay, you guys, but first our shout out to Melanie, Sherry, Greyhounder 200, Ricky, Heather, and Aesthetically Yours. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, you guys, last night what I did was I took 2 pieces of cardstock and I took my white school glue and I painted it on, and then I put the 2 together and I set a book on it. So it's nice and flat and it's firm. So today what I've done is I got my little tool here and I creased a spine. So that's just how you do it. You just crease your spine. You just determine how large you want your spine, and you make it so that this side and this side match, and then you've got your spine. It's really simple, and just crease it. I didn't crease it super duper because we're going to cover it, but you've got it creased, and now you have your spine just like that, and it's even here. Sometimes it goes out of whack, but it's even. Okay, so let's set this aside, and next what you need to do is select your material. Well, I got this pretty material. I thought that was beautiful, and so you want to cut it to be bigger than your cover, so it's larger. Then this is what I like to use. I like to use the fusible mid-weight interfacing. Okay, I bought this at Walmart. You can buy it at craft stores too. You can actually get it in a big bolt and have them cut it. So one side is bumpy and the other side is not. The bumpy side is the side that's going to grab a hold of your material. So this is the way I would like to do it. I would like to put my cover down. I would like to turn this up so it's the bumpy side up. See, I've just kind of cut this to be just about the same size as the cover, and then I've got to decide how I want this on. I think I want it on this way. That's why I have to kind of see where my cover is as to what's going to be showing. I do want this right here, and I like this here. So I'm going to lose that much. Okay, I like that a lot. I'm going to get my iron and we're going to fuse it on. Now I can actually remove my cardstock. There we go. Okay, we're going to fuse this together. I'm going to go get my iron. Okay, guys? Okay, just a second. All right, you guys, my iron is hot. Now I'm just going to set it down. I'm not pushing it like you would when you traditionally iron. I am just lightly moving it and letting it sit for a second, moving it, let it sit for a second until I get the interfacing adhered to the back of the fabric. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just barely going over it, just like this. Now this little tiny iron I got from Walmart, and I think it was like $11 or $12. That's where I purchased this little tiny, it's called a travel iron. I know you can look them up on Amazon. You might even get it cheaper than that, but I thought that was a pretty good price. All right, then you're going to need to check to see how you're doing. We're doing terribly. Terribly. So we need to set it a little more. Needs to set a little longer. Oh, it's starting now. Yeah, Maybe my iron wasn't quite hot enough. I've got to fuse that on there. What I like about the interfacing is that it gives it a little padding. That's the word, padding. And it feels better once you apply the fabric to your cardstock. Or, you know, if you use harder cardstock, like you use in a cereal box or a cracker box, I mean, you can use that. You don't have to put two pieces together. I was just trying to do the simplest way I knew how to start us off, because it can get pretty darn complicated doing this. And that's my phone on very silent, but let me grab it. All right, you guys, let's check. I think we're doing well. Yeah, just a little bit on this corner here. I'll do it just a little bit more, and then I'll come back when it's all done. All right, you guys, we've got our interfacing connected to our fabric, okay? All right, now we need to take our cover, and we're going to need to place it on top of here. So we have some options. You can sew it or you can glue it. I think I'm going to do both. So what we need to do is we need to turn this over, and we need to put our white school glue on top of here. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. And we're just going to paint it on. So get this all painted on. As soon as I get this painted on, I will be right back, okay? Okay. All right, I've got it painted on. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I am going to set it onto my fabric here, carefully. Yes, got it all done. Now I'm going to get my little plastic piece, just a old gift card, and I'm going to make sure it gets attached. Because you used a paintbrush and you painted on the glue, it's not going to have big globs. So that's what I like about painting it on with a brush. And you can buy those. It's a flat brush. See how wide and flat it is? Just like that. I love this thing. In fact, I need to go wash it before it hardens up on me, and then I'm in trouble, right? Right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set this book right on top of it for a few minutes while I go wash. Isn't this the coolest book ever? It is the coolest book. It's an old typing book. When they taught you how to type, oh my gosh, I remember these things. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go wash my brush, and then we'll be back and this will be ready. Okay? Okay, you guys, it's not completely dry, but it'll be okay. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. We could actually cut this, just cut it off and then sew it and then put some glue on the edge like that. But I think what most of you were wanting me to show you is how you do the corners. Yeah, they are a pain in the booty. So what I'd like to do is I would like to remove this interfacing. Comes up very easily. And I'm going to trim very carefully this interfacing off of where the cardstock is. You can't even see what I'm doing, sorry. So I pulled this interfacing off only to where the cardstock is. Now I cut this about as close as I could, because if I make it exactly perfect, I never can get it perfect on there. So this is the way I have to do it. And the reason why we're cutting this off, or at least cutting it down, is because, let me get this cut here real quick and then I'll show you why. When you get to these corners and you're folding them in, that extra interfacing is going to make a big old bump, a rise. And then when you put your inside, whatever you choose to put inside, it's going to cause a little bump right there where you folded that interfacing. So I'm going to clean my interfacing off of this, and then we'll do the next step. Okay, guys? Okay. All right, you guys, I've got all the interfacing trimmed off. So now we're looking like this. So the next thing I would like to do is I would like to, this is where you have to be careful, because if you cut this and then you lay it down after you've cut it, it's going to start fraying. And that's where I don't like it, when it starts fraying. So I actually just fold it like you do when you're fixing the corner of a bed. You know, when your mom taught you how to do that. At least my mom taught me how to do it. And oh my goodness, it had to be precise too. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to do it if you don't know how to do it. This is the exact same way you do it on a bed. Alrighty. So, I'm going to get my fabric tack down. Now I'm going to take my corner and I'm going to put it straight down like this. I'm going to glue it down just like that. Then I'm going to go to my next one. I'm going to do all the corners like that so it has a chance to kind of set up. All right. Do this corner. And we'll do this corner. So I'm just making kind of a little square. Just putting my glue right on like a little square. I'm going to lift it up so you can see. See, my glue is on this like a little square. Now there's an awful lot here to be, I'm looking for my big scissors, to be folded in. So I am actually going to trim some of this off, because that's an awful lot right there. You don't want to trim it too awful close, but you don't want a lot. Okay, so we're just going to fold this one right on over. Don't pull it so tight that you bend your corner. You don't want your corner to be bent, but you do want it to be firm, or tight, I guess is the word, not firm. Okay, so now let's look and see how that's looking. Okay, so now that's where we are. Okay, we've got our corner like that. Now we're going to go back and we're going to lay some glue down, and we're going to start finishing it off, basically, is what we're going to do. So I'm going to put my fabric tack right on here. I'm laying a good amount of fabric tack. I'm sorry you're having to watch me do this, but get this on here. Okay, it's a good amount of fabric tack on there. Now we're going to take this and we're going to pull it over, and I realized I'm going to need just a tad more right here and maybe right here. I didn't want to put too much because it would mess up your material. this is where you're going to pull it a little tighter, because you do want it to be tight. Okay, so you might need to use some clips or some. Last craft show I went to, I lost my clips. I can't figure out how I lost them, but I'm going to grab some paper clips. They'll work fine too. Okay, so I've got some paper clips, and I am just going to go like this with the paper clips just to hold my fabric down so that the fabric tack can grab a hold of it and get it glued to our cardstock. Okay, so let's turn it over. It's looking pretty good, right? Yeah, looking pretty doggone good. Okay, so now let's do this one. Or do I want to do it this way and then fold this down? Yeah, let's do the other side. And we're doing the other side exactly how we did this side. So what we did was we did not put the glue over to the edge because we don't see on this one there's not, when we folded it over, there's not any to fold over onto this for glue, so we don't want extra glue there. So let's just measure. So we're going to glue it at kind of an angle, that would work, and then lay a good amount of glue. I'm using fabric tack and just streaming it along. Okay, now we're doing the exact same thing. I am going to turn it around this way. Woo. And I'm going to firmly but gently pull it down. Okay, and I'm going to take my little paper clips, work just fine. What's nice about the paper clips is that it doesn't, a clip sometimes makes teeth marks in your project, and that's not nice. We don't want teeth marks in our cover. So we're going to do it this way, plus I can't find my clips. It's all good. Well, I don't want that one's kind of a little rusty look. It's not rusted, it's just, it's not smooth is the word I'm trying to say. There, so we've got that side done. I want another one right here. That's the same one I keep picking up. Okay, now let's turn it over and see how this looks. Oh my, it's looking beautiful, isn't it, guys? All right, now we're ready for our ends. So you are going to have to move this one and move this one, and then you're going to have to eyeball it to see where you're going to be putting your glue. And this is a little ravel here. I'm going to take that ravel off. Okay, now I'm going to put some glue down just like we did before. Lay down a bead of glue. Once again, I'm using my fabric tack. Oh, it started coming out. Now it's really coming out. Okay. Now we're going to pull this. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit right here, just with my finger. And now I'm going to pull it down. Once again, you don't want to go super tight, because if you go super tight, you're liable to bend your corner. And you don't want to bend your corner. You want your corner to be a corner. Okay, I'm going to put this one on just like that. Now there are lots and lots of ways to make a journal cover. I do think everyone has their own way of doing it. Sometimes next time I do it, I might do it a different way. But this is just one way of doing it. Okay. Now, make sure that corner's down. That corner's looking pretty doggone good. And it's pretty flat, and it looks pretty doggone good. Okay. Now we're going to do this side. So, I would allow this all to dry for quite a while, you know, half a day, 4 hours, you know, a good amount of time. So you're sure that it's glued. Then, if you're wanting to sew it, like sew decoration on the front of your journal, which I do on this one, that is when you're going to want to sew it, because you're sewing, the back of the sewing is going to come through here. So you do that so that when you're finished decorating the front and all your work that you can see on the back, you don't want to see it. So that's when you take your piece and you cover it up, and then you've got your cover. Am I making any sense? Here, let me try that again. After I get this done here, so I can concentrate on this for a second, folding this over, and then I will try to explain what I was babbling on about. Okay, there's a pucker there. I don't want to pucker. Just take your time and work with it. Now look, the first ones that I made, they're in the trash, you know. So start with some fabric that you're not like gonna cry and be all upset about if it messes up. Start with something that, you know, buy $1 piece of fabric at Walmart or something, you know, or a shirt or some material out of your closet that you know, decided you never wear that anymore. My point is, start with something that's not important to you, because your first ones you're probably going to throw out. Okay, so this is what I was saying. I am going to put buttons on this, and I have, let me reach over here. I just got this beautiful sari silk. Isn't it the most beautiful color? I'm going to add this sari silk onto this cover as well. So what I'm going to do, I'll put that back for it, it's all tangled, is I am going to let this dry. And then my next video, if y'all want, I'll come back and we will decorate this part. Then after we decorate that part, then is when we're going to put the inside piece. And then that way all your work is going to be covered up and all you see is the beautifulness of it. Oh, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this is what you were asking about in the comments when you asked me to make a covered journal. So it'll be a part 2 on this, and I do hope that you join me in that. And I hope if you're enjoying this, I hope you subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.